Well, I came to play baseball in college over here to pursue my dreams, and my sophomore year in college I blew my shoulder out, and for me it was the end of a dream, the end of everything. It began the search for answers. After blowing my shoulder out in college, I ended up meeting Stacy, playing baseball at East Texas Baptist University. This is where the first time we met, and Stacy was the first person that introduced me to Christ. I was in Arlington, Texas, and I remember sitting at a business convention, and I finally had come to the point where I said, right now it wasn't working. And so that day, June of 2000, I remember giving my life to Christ and saying, I'm done.
Well, I grew up in a very tumultuous home, to say the least. A lot of instability. There was alcoholism, divorce, domestic violence, lots of moving around. But there was one thing that was constant in my life, ironically, and that was the church. When I met Greg, even though I was a believer, I was searching as well. He taught me just so many things from the Bible that I'd sort of taken for granted my whole life. They became so real to me watching through his eyes. We both got really involved at Celebration Church, and our passion was just for young married couples, seeing their lives be transformed.
A year ago, God had just been stirring within us Australia had just been stirring within us. We had the perfect job at Celebration Church and serving Pastors Joe and Laurie. We loved it. We were campus pastors, but we knew God was doing something in us. And in February, I was at a conference in Dallas, but I know God spoke to me during that session that we were to move to Australia and plant a church. Pastor Joe was preaching at the ARC conference, and he shared a word out of Luke chapter 1, third verse, and it said, Luke writes, "It seemed good to me that I would write my account of the Gospels," and I know that that was a word for me, that I would share my testimony of an atheist, not knowing Christ at all, and share what Christ had done in me and through me to the people in Australia. And so I took a trip to Australia in July of 2011 and we began to pray and say, okay, God, where would you have us send us? And the city Newcastle just kept coming up. I began to search it out, and we began to Google and find out as much as we could with it, and from there it just began to be a stirring in our hearts for the people in the city of Newcastle. We wanted to know everything about it and find out, and began to search it out.
On one hand, it was a total surprise, like it came out of nowhere, and on the other hand, we embraced it because it's obvious that we're prepared for this and we're ready for this leap of faith. We expect that there'll be a larger number of people coming to church than we have finances to support. And so those first couple of years, we're going to rely on people like you to help, shore that up and to sow into that fertile soil that's going to have an eternal impact.
What we're asking of you is that you'll partner financially, either a one-time gift or monthly for 12 months. We would ask that you would give and get us off the ground. Hey, thank you for partnering with us. We could not do this without you. Together, I know we're going to change the world. We love you. God bless.